And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I am your host, Wes Tankersley. What is going on today? My lighting is shit. Let's turn that on. Maybe that'll be helpful. I cannot wait to get the studio taken care of and worked out so that we can record there and have a place that is dedicated to that, and we won't have to deal with all the stuff in the background. It's coming. It's coming. The Shaping Success studio will be ready in hopefully August. Check it out. Got some new merch. Move Forward shirts are on the store, or, well, they'll be in the store. They've got the Shaping Success logo on the side, the SWC on the left, and Move Forward, which is something that I say a lot of times. You have noticed that I've done a lot of solos lately. I am going to get back into some interviews. I've got some great people on deck that I need to get scheduled up to get that done with. The thing is that I felt like in the last 3 years, I kind of got lost in what other people were doing, but not understanding why I feel the way that I feel and the things that I do, which I wanted to show to you. I wanted to verbalize that to you so you know who I am. And we talked one of the things that we talked about is books, right? Like I read a lot of books, and basically the way that it goes, or I listen to books, basically the way that goes is I will listen to those books. I will think about how they relate to my life, think about how they make sense. And there's not every single line and everything that you read is going to relate to what you're doing. But there are a lot of lessons that I learned in life that have come from books and have come from people, but just cementing those ideas is great. So that is one of the things, that's the reason why I'm talking about this with you. We've been talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people. And these are things that, in my mind, I do every day and need to do in order to be effective, right? Go Giver was a great book. We talked about that one. And it's just how these things relate and how you can put yourself first, help yourself move forward, like the shirt says, and continue to just keep driving, to be a driving force, to never be complacent. John Wooden, the basketball coach for UCLA, said, being the best that you can no matter what, and knowing that you put in all the effort that you can. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I think people need to see, is that they can do that as well. They just have to be willing to do the work. And figuring out how to do that work is not always simple, not always easy, not something that anyone can do. It is something that anyone can do, but you have to get rid of that voice in your head, which is, right between those two ears. What is that voice telling you? Telling you I can't, telling you I won't. People making comments to you on social media, people making comments to you in passing, people you talk to telling you that that's not a good idea when you know in your heart that you can make it happen. And a lot of people have said, this is dumb, you shouldn't do that, or made fun of you from behind a keyboard. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, why are people judging you? Well, most of the time that they're judging you, it's because they're afraid to take that chance themselves. I'm a victim of this as well. Like when I started this podcast, one of the things that I found was social media, because it's a great way to disperse things and to get people out there, to get supporters, to have people subscribe, to have people like, to have people listen and things like that. So that's one of the things that you need to do. You need to kind of push yourself out there and not be afraid. It puts it out in the open, right? 250 days ago, I started exercising every day. It's just cardio. I've been doing it for 30 minutes every day. I feel a lot better about who I am, what I'm doing, and I know that I'm working towards it every day. It was a tough thing to do because I was busy. Like I couldn't find time. I couldn't make it work. And then I just realized that I had to adjust my schedule. I had to adjust the things that I was doing. I had to make it a priority. And that's what you have to do, is you have to figure out a way to make it a priority. So this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, is a great book to read, listen, whatever, or even just study the habits, because there's 7 of them, right? We've talked about being proactive. So what can you do to put yourself in that situation? As I was talking about a little bit earlier, I had to be proactive about exercising. And one of those ways that I utilize social media and this being proactive was changing my schedule and then telling people on social media that I was going to do it. So now there's people who are like cheering for me, who want to see me succeed, who want me to push forward. And I had to put it out there for everyone to know. 250 days. I'm a quarter away to 1,000 if you think about that. And I plan on continuing to do it. I've been sick a few times. I've been sore. I've been hurt. I've been tired. But guess what? I went out there and did it. I talked before about this one time when I first started. It was like 2 or 3 days into it, and having the integrity to go back out and finish it, because I had set the timer and realized that when the timer went off, I was off. Like it wasn't right. Like I had missed it. I actually had only done like 25 minutes. And in my mind, I told people I was going to do this for 30 minutes. I had started making my coffee. I was getting ready to do whatever. And then I couldn't do it. Like in my mind, I couldn't not go do the other 5 minutes. So I went back outside, got on the bike, finished the 5 minutes, because number one, I would have had this argument in my head that I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And number two, I didn't want to let people down who were cheering me on to continue to do that. So it's going 250. I can't wait to get to a year. Those milestones are just awesome. I have some friends who are cheering me on daily, sending me posts. Lee, if you're listening, thank you very much. That makes me very happy to see those posts every morning, to push forward, to keep going, and know that someone is thinking about me on a daily basis and know that it's important. I had to be proactive, though. What did I do? I sleep like, some people sleep naked, some people sleep in pajamas, whatever. I sleep in gym shorts and a tank top. So super easy. I'm ready to work out, right? So I get up in the morning. First thing I do is what I've been doing lately is I've been weighing myself, because I need to figure out how much I weigh and hopefully making that scale move a little bit, right? So I weigh myself. I go grab a pair of socks out of the closet, go downstairs, get my shoes, put my AirPods in, and go to work. And that's the thing, though. Like it's a routine that I've created every single morning, and that was part of being proactive, right? Second habit that we talked about already too, that if you're following along, and you're hopping in right now, that with the third habit, this is the second habit we talked about last episode, is begin with the end in mind. Okay, so like this goal of me working out every day, right? That's never going to change. I'm gonna work out every day, but what is going to be a byproduct of me working out every day is getting back down to a weight where I thought I was healthy, where I felt healthy, where I felt good. Because I've been having some issues, and we need to figure out what the problem is. And so how are we going to fix that problem? Well, part of it is weight, right? People look at you on a daily basis. This is something that you think about. Like they look at you and you go, "Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You look healthy. You look okay. Everything looks, why do you think you need to lose weight?" Well, you don't know what is internally going on inside that person. There could be a 90-pound person who's like 6 foot tall that looks like a skeleton, is the most unhealthy person right? For me, my BMI, this is what doctors judge you by. It should be lower than like 25, I think is what it is. In order for that to happen, I have to weigh 190 pounds. I will never weigh 190 pounds. Maybe when I'm in my coffin decomposing, I might weigh 190 pounds, but there is no way that I'm ever going to weigh 190 pounds. And I'm realistic about that. But at one point in my life, I was 350 pounds. And people said, "Oh, you look great. You look fine. It's not a big deal." Well, it is a big deal. I was unhealthy. My knee hurts. I had to have my knee replaced last year, and people don't see that. People don't know that. People don't know what's going on and the reasoning for you wanting to be at a healthy weight. And everyone's healthy weight is different. So the end in mind for me is to get to 230 pounds. I am 273 pounds this morning, right? I need to get to 230 pounds. That's where I need to get. That is the end result. So being proactive and doing the exercise, changing my diet, doing the things that I need to do to get there is the proactivity part, right? But beginning with the end in mind, knowing where you want to be versus where you are now can help you to set those goals and set those standards and figure out those things that you need to do in order to be a success in the goal that you're trying to obtain. But if you're just willy-nilly just going out there, "I just need to lose weight." Okay, well, what does that mean? You don't know. You don't know what it means to just do that. So you have to really put numbers on it. You have to put how many days on it. You have to put standards on it. You have to know that I'm not going to quit until I hit 230. That's it. I'm not going to quit when I hit 230, but I need to keep continuing to do what I do so that I can get to 230. When I get to 230, then I'm going to have to set another goal. What am I going to do to maintain this? What am I going to do to keep it where I'm at? You're never done. And I think that that's what most people think. It's like they see the end result of what happened with you, and you think that you're done. and you're not. You're never done, right? So that's the 7 habits of highly effective people. I really think that they're awesome things that you need to use. These habits are great. They're something that if you utilize them and you think about them on a daily basis and you use them for cues to what to do, to think about, to move forward, it's something that will be helpful and it will be highly effective. See what I did there? But we've got being proactive, right? So you have to think about what do you got to do to keep moving forward? And then what is the end result that you're looking for? And again, like I said, that end result is where do you want to get, but it doesn't have to be the end, right? It's never the end. And most people who are successful or who are go-getters, I like to use the word go-giver because it's a little bit different, but you need to read that book. They put first things first, right? They set the goal. They figure out what it is. They put first things first. So that's habit 3. That's what we're going to talk about today. Putting first things first. So what do you have to do? All those other 2 habits really just lie in there, right? Because you have to be proactive. So you have to figure out what is it going to take to be proactive. Beginning with the end in mind, you know the end result. And then we talked about just reverse engineering that. The end is this. What do I have to do to get to that end? And so when you're setting goals, instead of just saying, like I have this goal, you have to think about how you're going to get to that goal. Okay. For me, it was changing my eating habits, seeing my doctor, exercising 30 minutes every day, which is not enough. I need to do more. So that will come. We talked about the studio that I want to record in, that I'm working on getting that going. And in my house, part of being proactive is I do have a home gym setup that's in a storage unit that's been in there for a while. I don't want it, this is a rental. I don't want to put it up in the rental. Plus, we don't have as much room as we'll have in our other garage. But I'm going to have weights. I'm going to have my treadmill. I'm going to have my spin bike. I'm going to have my elliptical. Like I have all these tools to use, and I'm going to set that up so that I am set up for success. So that's the proactivity part, right? Like I'm being proactive. I'm giving myself the tools. The next thing you got to do is you got to use those tools, though, right? You got to do it. You got to be able to do it. And that's where it goes. So the end in mind for me, 230 pounds. How am I going to get there? I'm going to exercise every day for at least 30 minutes, but I need to add in other things. I need to do push-ups. I need to add weight. As you get older, you need to be doing some weight lifting and weight training and things like that. Cardio is just not enough because you start to lose muscle mass. You start to get like osteoporosis where your bones start to break down. They get brittle. You start to get things like where your skin is starting to spot. Like that drives me nuts because I'm so freaking vain. You guys don't know this, but I feel really convicted by people judging me, and they're not. That's the thing. Most people don't do that. Now, there are those people that do, but you have to learn how to just kind of quiet that noise and not let them bother you. It's difficult, but it's possible. And I have people who follow me on TikTok who are and Instagram and everywhere that are very, very supportive. But then you get that one person who says things like the one that I got a couple weeks ago on YouTube. Your videos are shitty. You sound like the video quality was shitty. Something was going on with my internet connection or something that day. I didn't care because of posting it and the message is good. And the guy goes, well, why would I listen to you with a shitty camera and all this stuff when I can go listen to Joe Schmo who is got lots of followers and you sound just like every other person who's trying to motivate people? Well, I don't agree with that, and that's okay. He has his right to his opinion, and it was great. I thought about it. I talked to people who mean something to me, people who are supportive to me about it, and it is what it is. The problem is I'm not afraid to put that out. And then I went back, and it was funny because I went and looked at this guy's YouTube page, and I was like, this guy is the most negative person in the world, and he's tearing down someone for being positive because he doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have that in him. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the 4th one now. I think we should hit the 4th habit here because I think that it is important. I think that they kind of go in order, right? So being proactive, getting out there, doing it, putting yourself in the right place, beginning with the end in mind. What's the end goal that you want? putting first things first and starting somewhere. So like, what are the first things that you have to do? So when you create that goal, you start with the first step, and theoretically, you should have a bunch of steps of what it's going to take to get there. So what are those steps? What are you going to do? What is your plan to be successful? That's part of being proactive as well, but you're putting the first things first, okay? The fourth habit, number 4, is think win-win, okay? So what does that mean for you to think win-win? And for me, thinking win-win means that you're thinking about what can happen. So there may be a time when you would be win-win, like as a salesman, right? Like I go into a person's house, I sold them the product, they got what they wanted, win-win, right? Part of this talk that we're having is talking about surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded. And the reason why you do that is because those people want to support you and they want to help you be better. Okay. So if you're thinking win-win and you think that, no, the glass is half full instead of half empty, you have a chance of being successful more because you've kind of like visualized it and you know that it's going to happen. I was driving by the Chevy dealership the other day and I saw this pickup that I really want. And I may not get it today and I may not get it tomorrow. I may have, 10 years ago that I'll never have that. But now in my mind, even if I can't afford it right now, even if I'm doing all these things and trying to move forward, I will have that. I will find a way to make it happen. I will raise the money. I will get it. And if you think win-win, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be willing to push forward. You're going to figure out the ways to make it happen. And you're going to do that. It all goes hand in hand. These are all great tools to make that happen. But if your friends tell you that what you're doing isn't, why are you doing that? They're embarrassed of you. In reality, they're just embarrassed to do it themselves because they're embarrassed. They don't want to be embarrassed, right? They don't want people to make fun of them. They don't want to be able to take that impact that people are trying to make on them and do it, like put themselves out there. I started this podcast and I made fun of people who do the things that I'm doing now. So think about that. I did the same thing. I was a victim of my circumstance. I didn't think I could do it. I thought it was funny that other people were doing it, and then realized that I feel so much better when I look at things in a different way. And when you think win-win, you put things in play and things just happen. One of my friends on TikTok the other day was talking about how he feels like posting videos is a chore. Like he's gotten to the point where it's like, it's a chore. I can't keep up. I can't get people to watch my stuff. I can't get things going on. Well, if you think of life like a chore, and this is what I told him, if you think of whatever you're doing as a chore, you're never going to be happy. And if it's not making you happy, you probably shouldn't do it. But if you enjoy doing the videos and making the content for yourself, and just know that whatever happens, it's going to be so much better. Instead of being a slave to the numbers. And I'm kind of a little bit of a slave to the numbers. I've got like a little over 1,500 followers or subscribers on YouTube. I've got over 22K on TikTok. I've got 3,000 on Instagram. Those numbers aren't growing, but I started to think about it as like, you know what? I don't care. I need interaction. And the people who want to be around me will help me win, right? They're going to be there for me, and I'm going to help them. And that is what it's really about. Like, if you can find a way that, like, everyone wants to be a YouTuber, everyone wants to be an Instagram influencer, everyone wants to be a TikTok star. And then if you sit there and you look at that, well, what's different about this than that? Why is that person doing this and why am I doing that? You lose sight of what the end goal is. People want to see your authentic you. So if you're doing all these things to try and just cheat the algorithm to get views, to get people to look at you, to get those things happening, it's not going to be as meaningful as if you're just doing it for yourself. You can get lost in that, though, as well. Like, if you think about it, like some people with podcasting, in 2019, I met Jay and Brian and Zach Johnson, all friends of mine that have been on the podcast in one form. I do One Drink Wednesday with Jay. We talk every single day. Brian and I talk quite a bit. There was a lot of people. We were in a group. There was like thousands of podcasters because COVID had just started and everyone is just hanging out and trying to find something to do. So everyone's got a podcast, right? And so you still hear that. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's got a podcast. There's a lot of people who do, but the successful ones think about what they're doing, right? And sometimes you get into like a Facebook message like, hey, let me critique your podcast. So then you critique it. Someone critiques it for you, and then you take offense to what they say, even though you asked them to do it, right? And then one of the common things that they would say is, well, I don't do this for you. I do this for me. Like, I don't care if you want to watch it or not. You know, the reality of the situation is you do because you want people to listen to it. You don't just do it because, you know, you do it for you. So if you're thinking that way, you're never going to really be able to move forward. Is that a very proactive thing? Like, why are you putting it out there? Is it just something that like you're just going to put it out there and just hope that, or you're just putting, is it like your journal? Is it your diary? You could just record it into your phone if that was the case. You want people to listen to it, so don't do that. Don't say that, because that's not true. People, you're there for the attention. That's what you're trying to get, right? The attention. And I don't look at it as attention, because my reality is that I want to reach lots of people. That's why I want those numbers to be bigger. But the fact of the matter is you can reach 22K on TikTok and only be talking to 100 people. So then you have to spread yourself out, right? You have to be willing to do that. So that's why we have Instagram. That's why we have Facebook. You reach people in different places. And I think that a lot of people will say things and not really think them through with podcasting. So the main goal of mine, as we have spoke about before, is to help other people see that they can be growing. It's kind of selfish, though, in some ways, right? This is a challenge for me to sit here and talk to you for right now. We're going on 22 minutes about the things that I do. But it's easy for me to interview someone, and that's why I haven't done as many interviews, because I could just sit next to someone else, ask them the questions that I'm thinking I want to hear the answer to, and then let them talk. I don't have to do the talking. I don't have to be the person that they're looking for. And so it just doesn't make sense to me to do that. And I want you to know who I am. I want you to get some information from me. And I should have done this in the beginning and then started interviewing people. So if you like the solo episodes, please let me know. I'm going to start sprinkling in some interviews again, though. And I've had some great people reach out to me. I've done some really good. I've done about 4 interviews this year, this season, but I'm going to add in some more. I've got some people on deck. I've talked to them about it when I interviewed them before. We're going to have some people back. We're going to talk about things. If you have a topic that you want us to cover, email me, wes@westankersley.com. If you want me to send you a sticker pack, I would do that for you for free in exchange for a review and posting it somewhere on social media and tagging me. Send you a couple stickers, maybe a coaster. I've got some merch that I'd send you. If you want some shirts and stuff, I'm not going to send you those, but they are for free. Maybe we'll do a contest, or sometime they do cost money. They're not free. But I'll send you some stickers if you show me a review. You did it on Apple Podcast. You can do reviews on Spotify now, but you have to listen to 5 or 6 episodes. Tell me what episode you listened to. Tag me, and then show me your review. I'll send you some stickers. I appreciate you all. I hope that you are thinking about that moving forward every single day. Taking those 5 minutes to think about that, plan it out. Check out some previous episodes and let me know what you think. I want to thank Nikki Pavlovich. She is our Patreon supporter. If you want to support the show to help us grow, get new equipment. I've got a studio coming. This is a hobby for me, so it makes it tough for me to buy equipment and then allow my explain it to my wife, hey, I need this. So I'd like to get a couple of really good cameras. The studio is going to be set up really nice, but it's going to take a little money. So if you want to support the show, if you want to help it grow, Patreon business or Patreon supporters, go over to Patreon. WesTankersley.com is the web address. The merch is going to be up there real soon. You can DM me, though, and I can get it to you as well. Till next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.